ClickUp's 3.0 release is a feature that we have been waiting for what seems like forever. It's all new, so don't worry if you did not know that it got released. That's what you got me for. ClickUp released custom task types. Yes! So in this video, we'll be covering the introduction and setup, use cases, what do you even use ClickUp's custom task types for? And third, some pro tips so you can become a true custom task type master. And please be wary of some of the videos out there I have already seen being published. They're already starting to go way too crazy with custom task types and using them the wrong way, which is why I'm here with you, for you today, to really dive deep into ClickUp custom task types and talk about best use case scenarios, your specific use cases, where to use them, how to best use them to not create chaos in your business, but actually use custom task types to your advantage. Shall we? Why do I love ClickUp's custom task types so much? It is now really easy to distinguish an actionable task from a data point, from an asset. You now can use ClickUp also as a data hub without having to retrain your team over and over and over of, this is not a task, this is not actionable, this is a data entry, this is a collection of information. We don't have to do that anymore now. Why do I want you to really be able to master this feature? New features means there is new possibilities, new trainings, and new ways of doing things. It also means there is new ways of screwing things up and just fucking up your workflows and processes. I am still cleaning up my own ClickUp Workspace because I used it as a sandbox, so don't do what I did. And as we already know, ClickUp has huge capabilities and therefore huge possibilities. And those possibilities are going to be as good or as bad as your processes are. And our responsibility is to use those features to our best possible way to structure our ClickUp and therefore our business the best possible way to be the most efficient. But it's also my fault if I screw up those features and ClickUp custom tasks and suddenly turn my ClickUp into a show and my team is like, I'm out of here, I quit, I'm not doing this anymore. So let's go and see how to best set up ClickUp custom task types. And while ClickUp is loading, hit that like button and show YouTube that other ClickUp users really need some custom task type help too. We need to start in the beginning. We need to make sure you are actually on ClickUp 3.0 because custom task types in ClickUp is a feature of 3.0. How do you tell if you're 3.0? Pretty simple. If your ClickUp looks like this and you have your avatars down here, you do not have 3.0. If you have access to 3.0, you see the button to switch to 3.0 right here. So let's hit that and switch back to 3.0. Now that we are on 3.0, you have your workspace avatar on the top left, you have your personal profile avatar on the top right. If you click right in here and you go into the settings, you will find task types right there. Big fat button on there that says new, and there it is. ClickUp in general comes with your task, this puppy right there, as well as the milestone. And as you can see, I already set up one for SOP and assets. This is also where you create those custom task types right in ClickUp. Fancy icon, give it a singular name, give it a plural name. That's where we create them. However, that's not the only spot where you can find your custom task types. When you are in a list and you choose one of the tasks, you will see the bulk action toolbar on the top, and right here is your set custom task type button. You can see the 4 that are already set up or link back over to that settings menu you've just seen to set up a new one if you need that. You will also find that right in here in the task setting to set that specific task type for that specific task. To repeat, check multiple tasks, not just the one here. You can multi-select tasks and assign the custom task type right there. You can go into your task settings and assign the task type right there. And you can go into the list settings to set a default task type. And with all of that, you just unlocked your custom task type mastery level 1. And by the way, how do you like ClickUp 3.0? Are you as excited as I am, or are you just like, yeah, cool, whatever? I want to know, so comment below. Let's talk about your first custom task type. I recommend your first custom task types in ClickUp to be something like assets. And we're going to talk about more why I chose such a broad term. Make sure you watch the pro tips coming up at the end. And another one potentially would be people. This way you can test these features before you dive into all the other ones we're going to be talking about and all the things and go too crazy. You know me. I like to start with one setup, test, play with it, and then roll it out more broad. Having mentioned those two, assets and people, let's dive into a couple of use cases. In this case right here, the first one we're going to talk about is Company Hub. If you don't know what I'm talking about with a Company Hub, we got a video for you with the 5 must-have spaces that every ClickUp workspace should have. And right here in the Company Hub, we have assets or SOPs. Those are interchangeable. I will dive deeper into this in the pro tips as I just mentioned. So let's update them because right now they are all still tasks. However, these should be SOPs. And that's how simple it is to update your custom task types in your regular setup that you already have built. As you can tell, the icon clearly states this is a document of some sort. This is an SOP or an asset. Did I mention we're going to talk about this in a second on how to not mess all of this up? Number 2, custom task types in ClickUp now makes our CRM setup so much nicer. Look at this gizmo. Now when I see this task anywhere, I know exactly that this is, yes, still actionable for me because my CRM is actionable, but I know that it's not a task of create a video or something. This is actually an actionable people record. Doesn't this look way nicer in a CRM setting than the whole task thingy? Your third use case for custom task types, courses, groups, or membership management. This is also again where the whole play of assets comes in because it's such a broad term. We call these trainings and use them cross-platform. So trainings for clients, it could be a course, it could be a session, whatever you name it. We chose trainings no matter how it's been being delivered. And the video, because all our trainings are video based or call based. And there we go. As I said, a perfect use case for custom task types. Now to give you a couple more ideas, especially when you have an agile setup in ClickUp. Custom task types in ClickUp could be initiatives, issues, epics, features, people or person, as we already talked about. Company, that is another one you would be using for your CRM setup. Meeting, do you collect your meeting notes in ClickUp? Perfect right here. Set up a custom task for meetings. Your rituals, your objectives, your key results, triggers if you are collecting your automations within ClickUp. Again, talking about the 5 spaces every ClickUp workspace should have set up. Now that you've seen a couple of the use cases and how to apply them in your business, you officially reached level 2 of custom task type mastery. Okay, we need to work on that whole singing thing. I know you want to always be learning, evolving, and growing. That's why you're watching the video. So hit that subscribe button to continue to do so with all of the weekly videos I'll bring you. And with this much possibility of custom task types in ClickUps, as I already mentioned, comes a lot of responsibility. So here are 5 custom task type pro tips for you to ensure you seriously reach that custom task type mastery. Number 1, keep it organized. Use names that all of your team can understand, not only if there is a custom task type already, but also if they're getting ready to create new ones. So what I mean by that is we talked about the whole asset and SOP. Try to find overlaying topics, titles for your custom task types to keep it simple and make sure your team knows to go look what's there and are these cross-applicable and usable. Keep them updated. If anything changes, the custom task type must go along with your changes, just like everything else in your processes and workflows. Otherwise, people will simply not use them and it's just like one of those courses that you have put on your shelf and never actually watched. Get internal feedback. Again, this is a group effort. This is a company effort. It's not a make and break with you and for you. This needs to work and be implemented across your whole team. So get feedback from your team. Do a big brain dump. What custom task types do they think they want? How can these be combined? How can these be simplified? Get feedback from your team. Now, talking about feedback, you don't have to do this alone. Our SOAR community is full of people that have the same goal as you, becoming a pro and running their business in the most efficient and aligned way possible. So join us today. The link is in the description. Tip number 4, keep it simple. I already hinted on this, just like your statuses in ClickUp. Yes, you can create up to 50 custom task types. That doesn't mean you should do them. You now have the freedom of choice. Never gone to a restaurant with a 20-page menu, yet you still end up ordering the same thing because you get completely confused and overwhelmed by all of that? That's your possibility you have right now. So keep custom task types in ClickUp really, really simple. And this is where I have seen some videos out there that created way too many task types that are way too confusing and way too intricate. Just like we have the issue with you being able to set up all the statuses. You now have the responsibility to keep this clean, simple, and efficient. And number 5, none of this matters if you don't take action. So update your CRM, update your company hub. And if you're ready to make sure your whole workspace is as organized and clear and efficient as your custom task types are now, watch this video on the must-have 5 spaces in ClickUp and the core structure everyone should have in their workspace. I already mentioned the video. Go get those 5 spaces, go update the custom task types, and I see you on the next video because you subscribed, right?